started a welcome.
And that's why we need to adapt back to what they're doing right now.
God.
Go ahead, let's go.
Welcome. I just did. It's recording. Welcome to show number 4. Oh God. Unwavering stance. Show number 4. The fucking. No one's excited. No one's hyped.
No one's hyped. I'm saying run it. I'm saying run it, baby.
Run it back. All right.
Run it back, baby. Run it back.
well, where were we before we hit the button?
Hell yeah. Well, first off,
I
do want to say,
we'll get to that.
First off, everybody in chat, me and Deed, go ahead. We at least want to, you know.
No, I forgot how to do this.
Let's go ahead and celebrate and wish Stark a happy birthday if you haven't.
My birthday.
Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Remind him that he's getting old. Happy birthday, you old mother. No, I'm just kidding.
Old
happy birthday,
man. Awesome. Old man Stark in the building.
Happy birthday, dude. Happy birthday. Much love.
Happy birthday.
Hope it's a good one.
Thanks.
You know, many more to come, dude. So yeah, for sure.
So Expedition. Today is Monday. Expedition launched Friday. Here on Monday, July 26th. Oh boy, a lot of changes. What's everybody running? What are you running, Deedle? Because your Archmage got destroyed.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay though. I still gotta get it and play test it, but I think it'll be manageable. The defense on it was hardly touched, but
that's the best part.
It still required, yeah, and that's like the best part of it. Again, we can find. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I started with a Earth-Shattered champion. Let me preface this, but I started hardcore solo self-found this league.
Same.
So I wanted something pretty tanky to do, and I kind of made up my mind before I read Balance Manifesto and Nerfs, and we were hit very, very hard with the Balance Manifesto / Nerfs, and I was thinking about changing from Earth-Shattered champ to like maybe EDC, Essence Drain Contagion, Trickster, and I kind of tested that out, but
that's bait. That's bait as fuck.
It felt good, but it was so squishy without gear early, and I said I can't do no, this isn't what I'm looking for. It felt good, and like I've never done Essence Drain Contagion, so it's still on my list. But it's like once I get some gear for it, then I'll do it.
Which act did you feel the most squish? When did you feel the squishiness?
It started in Act 5.
Okay.
And then it felt really squishy all along. Now, Patient Reaper, the recovery node on Trickster, really helps that out. But you're constantly watching your life go,
yep.
And you can't that's so bad for hardcore. Like,
yep.
just the thought, like
you have no solidity to your character. Yeah.
I'm about to die, but then it's like so.
It's
and plus,
stressful.
Essence Drain gives you regen. So I said, all right, I'm going to put that on the back burner. I'm going to relook at Earth Shatter. So Seismic Cry, which we used to use, made me lose 43% of my damage. This is kind of getting in ahead of with the nerfs, but just my thought process. So I had to find workarounds for support gems, Seismic Cry, and from what I didn't really know, now Mana. But it's been going pretty well. The workarounds seem to be working. Nice. We are currently, I've been taking it slow, not trying to really race or rush.
Yeah,
currently
you've been doing a lot of the league mechanic.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I like it. I'm level 83. I'm in about T5-ish maps. I killed Baron. I'm working on Al Hazim and
how was that fight?
Cloud Girl. Wasn't too bad, I guess. I mean, it's
like compared to other leagues where you had the damage.
It was definitely more. It was definitely took longer, and it was more noticeable that my damage was not as good. But it's first Conquerors, right? Like they're not that hard.
Yeah,
you can go in on a 4-link and crush them pretty well. Which I'm on a 5-link with a decentish gear for day 3. And it's been,
where did you get the
slowly but surely?
Did you get the 5-link from Expedition?
No, I manually linked it.
Ooh, I linked mine too, so
pretty good.
I was on a tabby until like late 70s, and I felt it felt terrible. I was like, I gotta get out of this tabby, so I just like picked up a random 6-socket golden plate. Yeah, golden plate. It's not even good. It's eye level 62. It's terribly rolled, but it was already 6-socketed. So I said, I'm gonna throw a couple usings at it. I finally hit a 5-link, and toss the tabby in the stash, and it's been going all right.
Earth Shatter champion. Why Earth Shatter? Why champion?
Champion is very tanky. You get free fortify basically. I mean, it's not free. It costs you 2 ascendancy points, but having permanent fortify.
Yeah.
Even though they nerfed like some of the fort effect on the tree, we still get fortify effect, just not as much, and it's still 20% less damage taken from hits.
Yep.
And then you get bonuses around, so I get attack speed, I get attack damage, I get more armor while I have fortify, and it's just incredibly strong. Not only that, but Earth Shatter has a pretty good base damage. They buff the base. The initial hit does quite a bit of damage, and then the spikes that it creates can overlap and shotgun. So you get quite a bit of damage. You get, Intimidating Cry, which doubles your damage. I'm using Rallying Cry, which gives me more damage plus damage based off my main hand, and then Enduring Cry, right? And I basically have like a bunch of life flasks in those War Cries because I regain extra damage or extra. I recover 10% of my life when I use a War Cry.
Now,
So it's super tanky. It clears. The clears is not the greatest, but it's safe.
Yeah.
Right. It's safe as a
First
first character.
First tune in hardcore
hardcore
solo so fun. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. What's is Ground Slam a lot like Earth Shatter? Are those the two that I'm thinking of?
People use Ground Slam a lot with champion. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not. I don't think it's as popular.
Mechanics though.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Like
you don't use War Cries
Slam,
in the mechanic with Ground Slam.
You use them before, not like after. It's all initial front loaded on Ground Slam and Earthquake, whereas like Earth Shatter, like I said, you have an initial hit and then it creates 5 spikes around the fissures, and you can have up to 20 spikes.
Something like that.
You have 15 spikes, and they can overlap. And then you set them off by using either a War Cry or another slam. So you can actually set it off with Leap Slam too, but I just set it off with War Cries.
Heard.
So it's a lot of juggling. There's a lot of keybinds, and there's a lot of like War Cry / totem and curse juggling. But I'm getting used to it. There's a rhythm to it that once you get accustomed to it, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. So yeah, it's been going all right. Level 83, progressing slowly but surely, just trying to gear and XP up.
Heard.
How about you, Slim? What are you doing? Yeah.
I guess I'll go. So I went not soul self fun. I went trade league softcore for the first part to run with some friends. We actually had a big group of people that were in the first day. They were off for work for the first time in like 3 or 4 leagues. So it was like a big deal for some of us to get together. Ran about 6 deep on day 1. Eventually, people died out, daddy duties and family and stuff, and yada yada.
Daddy duties.
Yeah.
Duty.
So
I know about that.
That is duty, doo-doo. But yeah, stuff like that happened, right? So then there were like 2 or 3 of us, but I started out with them just to run with them. So it was also a safe build because my league starter was. So when I saw the video, pretty much in a nutshell, I saw the video. I had a couple ideas. Obviously, I wanted to do summoning because that's what I always do. It turned out that they're a hard crack right now, and it's not easy to figure out. Some of them
summoners
just declaring, some people are just declaring the new summoning skills are doo-doo, which is
you're talking about Reaper.
Again. I did do and Absolution.
I've heard that about Absolution, which is so surprising to me.
Reaper was pretty good, and they buffed it. They said they gave it more life, and they gave it
a lot of people win just recently because I know Gazzy's like, don't get me started on that shit because I was asking about it and talking about it. He was like,
so he said that, but Ventura said that it's great.
Yeah. See, I don't know. Maybe I said, you take it with a grain of salt.
I guess it's how you build it, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's Path of Exile, right?
So I was like, well, I want to. I've always, there's always been like this thing for me. There's never been something like this in a game before where the architect of the fantasy of throwing potions, alchemist, aka. It was also very intriguing to see throw potions, and I was like, you can only imagine what it's like if you get something going with that kind of build. It's very unique. It's nothing we had before. I'm gonna give that a shot. I'll put Necromancer on the second run around, and we'll do it later. Summoner second run around. So I ended up running Berserker potions. I came to the conclusion. I studied the tree, looked around. Turned out there was only like 2 of the 19 ascendancies we have that don't work with throwing potions. You can make almost every other class throw potions if you want.
Why'd you settle on Berserker?
So I settled on Berserker because think about this. 2 things people who don't know about it. It's an attack. So when I was waiting on skill information, I waited to see if it was a spell or if it was attack or however they, how they were gonna like tag it, right?
Well, they said it was an unarmed attack in the reveal.
Sure. So I didn't, at that time I didn't catch that. You were so alarmed by all the information they stuffed in your face. I was like, I got to go back and look. So I went back and looked at the website. They released the gems. I studied that, looked at this. It's an attack, so it worked well. I went Berserker because the more attack speed you have with that skill, because you have no weapon, right? So by default, you don't have any attack speed to scale off of. Normally, you get a one-handed weapon or two-handed weapon, you have some sort of attack speed / crit to to scale off of. So this build doesn't have any of that. It has a base flat 5, and it has 0 attack speed to start with, 0. So it's very slow. And I was like, I wanted to be different because you also know that like 99% of the people that watch the video, they think that GGG knows best, and I don't dog him for it, but I feel like the Pathfinder build, the Pathfinder that they gave the demo with and the skill in the original video was a trap. So I avoided that and just did a little research, and I found that Berserker, if you could just figure out a way to maintain your flash charges and figure out a way to like manipulate the loss of charges, you'd be able to tee off probably. And my first initial thought was to go blitz charges, and blitz charges does not work very well because you cannot get a lot of crit, so they come and go throughout maps. And I would rather have the pure damage, which is on constantly, which is aspect of Carnage. But I went Berserker because of just, it's different. I know a lot of people wouldn't look at that as something to throw potions with. And if you can invest in potion management, it's solid. If Stark puts the video up that I sent him, y'all can watch a little video. I don't know, he can loop it or whatever, but y'all can see kind of an idea of like what I just did. That's probably going to go in my video here. This is like a tier 8.
I have to get your faces out of the thing and get on Discord for a second. Hold on.
Oh, you're good. I don't know if they can still hear us if you move us, but yeah, I went Berserker just honestly, Deed, for the sheer raw power of
They say 2 things that
the
kind
raw
of
attack
caught my attention there.
What's
You
up?
say that it doesn't have base attack speed, which I'm
Nope. Yep.
pretty
It's
sure
like
it
face breakers.
does. It does, though. It has an
does?
attack speed override on the gem itself of 0.18.
Point.
Or I'm sorry, 0.85.
Okay, so 0.8. So it's minimal then. So it's minimal attack speed then. Because I don't think, can you go any slower by default?
So here you are opening the map.
Yeah. Okay. So it has the slowest possible attack speed, right?
No, it's you go slower. You could have no base. Point 0.8 would be like a 1.2 APS or something like that.
Doesn't look bad.
Multiplicative.
It's hella slow. Let it ramp up. The only downside. Go ahead.
Not only that, but the crit. You said you can't get crit. It has a base crit.
Yeah, it has 5. It has 5.
And increased critical strikes gem and crit multi were both buffed very, very heavily this patch. That you can get another 2% base crit and like 138 multi and 130 something percent crit chance. And you could use ambush.
Well, so there's a lot of things that I thought would work. I initially wanted to run to be able to manage the crit to make it easier, was to run inspiration. But where we talked about it, a lot of us are forced to go life tap, which is a butt. It's a pain in the ass. Life tap was the option, and now inspiration was out the window. Trinity works very well. Trinity is really nice to pick up. I enjoyed Trinity in that like, I guess my first time ever using Trinity support, I guess. I knew that I was throwing 3 elements, and so Trinity worked very well. I thought about doing Frostbite to manage the frenzy charges. I ended up grabbing an influence necklace, which gave me 7% chance to gain frenzy charges on kill. There's the boss kill. So yeah, it's not terrible.
Are you using all 3 of the elemental flasks? I can't see it on.
Yeah, Topaz, Sapphire, and Ruby. Yeah, you don't have to use Ruby. So here's where I've come to conclusion, right? After doing some study.
That's Ignite, and if you're not running Ignite build, right?
2 things. If you want to go the Ignite route, you really only have to use a Ruby, which means you're still free to use Quicksilvers, yada yada. You can use Topaz if you want to shock. That's fine. But like, I guess you like, honestly, the minimum, you have to use a Ruby if you want to Ignite. So like, if you're really trying to look for like a chieftain or an elementalist, even a trickster, like knight, that kind of thing, you can even do a inquisitor if if you feel like I'd rather do crit with inquisitor, but you can do those kind of things, based off of certain builds, affinities. You can get away with just a ruby, right? And you're free to roam with everything else. Your flask, your normal HP, your quicksilvers, your quartz if you want, whatever it may be. However you want to play it, you can. But like if you're trying to go for the overall like raw damage, you want all three of them. You could take away the ruby. Like I could take away the ruby right now and go something quartz for like the dodge, because I don't have a lot of block and might as well just have a 10% chance to dodge and stuff like that. So
6, sir. 6.
what's up? 6?
6. It was nerfed.
Oh, used to be 10. Sorry guys.
Is it still clipping?
I'm still not used to it. But
nerfed.
6. With that being said, like throwing potions, yes, angrily is very nice. Yeah, I just want to do something different, honestly. If you want my honest opinion to answer his question, it just read well because everything about it, like synergizes very well with the potions, and it's not hard to scale because he's got this generic 40% more damage. So if you have generic 40% more damage, you can scale any kind of damage you want on a berserker. You just got to invest in it and figure it out. And once I figured out how to get the the potion, like the potion recharge rate from killing monsters, it was a wrap. The only thing I have a problem with is like longer boss fights that last longer than 10 seconds. After I throw on my potion charges, you're just doing generic fire damage, and it's kind of meh.
Is there overlap? Does it shotgun or no?
Yep. Yeah. Sure does.
Sure. It
Yep.
does.
Positive.
Without a doubt.
Positive. So I want to drop GMP and go Dying Sun in the end and be able to add another support like what Deed might have mentioned, because that would put me at a 4 link and I'd still have 2 open links if I drop GMP. So the crit strikes and the crit multiplier could be something I could implement, which would help single target greatly. That's just something I got to experiment and to see what other people have come up with, because I know a lot of people are looking at Raider with that, because she's got the multi-exposure, all 3 elemental exposure, which is huge. She's got the built-in frenzy charges that I don't have. So Slayer is probably the best along with Ascendant. Ascendant and Slayer are probably some of the better potion throwers. Just being real with you guys. Yep, I've come to the conclusion. So
Ascendant.
Berserker's unique. Ascendant Pathfinder Berserker. You can do Ascendant Pathfinder with any class that has damage or elemental damage. Berserker's fun because he has the built-in stun immunity, and he has the rage generation. A lot of people like the rage mechanic. It's just hard to figure out. Like,
Rage is awesome.
Rage is awesome. Yes, I enjoy it. I just wish that they were less
Berserk.
like. Yeah,
Berserk's
that's why.
great.
That is why, because you can
20%
Berserk is
less
huge.
damage taken on top of
50% more attack speed, 50% more damage, or some shit like that. Whatever for like
20 at
20
max. Yeah.
It's interesting
And
start.
30% movement speed. 30% more movement speed.
Someone in chat said, I wonder if using Hiri's Demise would help scale the damage.
So here's the thing. I'll tell you this, Marshall. Here's the thing, right? So here's where I was saying, like, Slayer, I think is probably like the #1 pick for me, in my opinion, if you want like a decent, like, solid all around. So you think about Slayer. So it will, right? But here's the thing. For me, scaling the damage, that would help single target. But for like clear, it's god awful because Berserker has no increased AoE. The AoE of the potion throws are very fucking weak, right?
I noticed that in the video, the AoE.
Little. So I have to go, if you watch my video, I have to go Impulses. So I ended up snagging an Impulses and 5 linking it myself. Impulses is a great help. If you go Slayer, all you got to go is Impact. You go Slayer, you get 50% increase.
Shock. And you get the explosions if you shock.
I'm immune. Yeah, I'm immune to shock. I'm immune to stun. I'm immune to freeze with my build. So I'm actually, it'll be all in the little video I'll put out tonight. So it'd be pretty cool to see. But I think Slayer is the best all around because he's got, if you invest in frenzy charges, you got 7 frenzy charges, you got 7 endurance charges. If you want to go 8, you can go 8 and 8, right? However you do it. And then you have impact, which is good for mapping. As you kill, you eventually gain 50% increased AoE as long as you're killing. It's pretty massive. And then you've got the headsman and you've got the culling node up top. So you got those 2, which is raw damage, right? And he has everything that the Berserker has with less, I guess, work to put in, right? Because rage, it takes a while to build up throughout a map. You can kill like 1 mob, 2 or 3 mobs, and have frenzy charges, and you're good for the whole map. Berserker lacks an AoE. 5
I really saw that in the video.
Lobo, I had a couple friends help me. We get it together. Oh, and then we had a group of guys get together and we 5 linked it. But yeah, I think a friend of mine, he 5 linked it in like 2 or 3 fusings, and that was it. Some of the guys that I started with. But with that being said, like, I think Slayer or the Ascendant with Pathfinder and Berserker, because the Ascendant has a lot of good stuff that most people would look at. You wish that you had on other classes that they don't have. she's got the ability to like gain charges over time, Stark, and that's the best part. 'cause
Yes.
New gems were added to
I might do that in
PO-
building
software.
nice.
POB.
What, the potion thrower? You should. It's a fun mechanic. Once you get like your second ascendancy on whatever you choose, it really takes off. Really, the biggest part is attack speed. It lacks so much in attack speed because there's no weapon. If you could get attack speed early, it feels good.
Hmm. Oh,
But I enjoy it.
Do you know what?
Gladiator, you get challenger charges.
Do you know what can
Gladiator
help
would be
you?
funny. You could bleed though. What's up? Hold on.
You know what helps you get attack speed early,
What's that?
like acts 1 through 3 is Ondars, 30%, 30%
full
attacks.
life,
Yeah, on full life. I love
I think
leveling
it's a
act 1
it's a
through
level
3.
28 gem though.
Oh, is it?
So by the time you
Uh.
hit the gem, you're not gonna want to be using Ondars.
If you can do something with like hybrid ES and have a big ES pool, you could do Ondars with the attack speed, but
I wanted to initially do warding and go dodge with ward on like a raider, and like in the future if somebody can come up with something like that. Right now nobody really knows what ward does.
oh, by the way,
if you
nice
guys don't know what the fuck it
haircut.
is.
Look at you.
I know what
Appreciate
ward.
it. Yeah. So
We know what ward does.
new league, new me. I've heard that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't. There's a lot of people probably like, wait, what's ward? You could probably there'll probably be
It's
companies
kind
that
of
might be
like
watching that would
steel
know.
skin, but it goes away as soon as you're hit, and
As you're
then
hit
it
once.
has a 5-second timer. It absorbs the damage, however much
And it
ward.
comes
So you have
back.
1,000 ward. If you get hit, it absorbs
1,000 damage.
1,000 damage, and
Uh-huh.
then it goes away for 5 seconds, and then it comes back every 5 seconds. There's no like
Yeah.
recharge where you have to not take damage.
Take damage. It's instant. And I'm guarantee you 5 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 seconds.
That's-
And there's uniques and different flasks that came out. The iron flask will restore your ward instantly, and there's some pretty cool like
Mark's gonna say something. Here he comes. Look at him.
there's some pretty cool unique flasks that are all iron flasks this league that have some pretty cool interactions with ward and other
Say it,
stuff,
Stark.
too.
Just play Last Epoch. It's named the same thing. It's literally the same name. The same. It's the same in the fucking name.
is.
It's the same thing.
It is. But Berserker Potions have been a great success. It's probably one of the more exciting builds I've done in a long time because it's something like brand new. It's like a brand new mechanic. It's not like something we've had where it's like a different iteration of a melee or a different iteration of a spell or something. It's like totally something different we've never had before. So it was like you literally had to change your whole game plan of like normally you just pick up Quicksilver Flask and you roll Adrenaline, and you pick up Life Flask and you make sure they're qualityed out and this and that, and you get utility and that's it, right? Now you're like looking around, you're like, what are the best mods for Topaz Flask that you never probably ever used unless you're in hardcore, for a Ruby and a Sapphire? Like who uses those all three at the same time? Like just by default, nobody.
one.
So it was like different stuff to look at. I was trying to figure out what charges were the best. Like the best ones I found out were crit. The ones where where I attack so much, I can 20% chance to recharge on crit. That was great for me. There's other ones with like max charges on it, and then there are other ones with immunities, which were really good too. But then you have to figure out like,
So
if I'm eating my flash charges, do I have enough to still throw with? So it was like, how do you
I'm gonna drop
balance
a
that out?
link.
It was cool. What's
I'll
up?
drop a link for you in chat. Check that out. There's a flask on there it's called Starlight Chalice Iron Flask. You were talking about inflicting exposure. You inflict fire, cold, and lightning exposure on nearby enemies when used. And you have increased effect of non-damaging ailments you inflict during flask effect.
What's
And
it
it also
called?
has increased charge
Starlight?
recovery.
Or is it that
Starlight
Iron? Yeah.
I heard it.
Iron
Starlight
Chalice.
Chalice. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know how much that would cost in Trade League. I have no clue, but it just made me think that
yeah. Inflict
that could-
all nearby enemies. So here's the thing too. We were talking about
that's
that where you said
huge,
nearby.
dude.
A lot of people were saying that throwing these potions, they don't want to be close to people, right? Which is tough. So it's like, how do you go about it? Somebody said do point blank. And I'm thinking about implementing point blank as just one node. I can unspec out of it, right? I can implement
probably
point
be really
blank.
good. Whoa, what
Yes.
happened to us?
We're
was
gray
that?
in a mug. And then I can
I
run
was
point blank with
doing,
this. I didn't even know that existed. That's lit. I'll have to check that out.
But yeah, check out that. There's all the there's a couple other ones too that have some pretty cool little interactions with ward and stuff.
I was trying to
Yo.
make it bigger, basically.
There's one
That's
you
what she
get
said.
Calling Strike. There's one that you debilitate. Well, you debilitate
We're gonna
2
save
seconds?
that Quicksilver of adrenaline talk for later, by the way.
Ah, okay. Stark, let's go. Since
Oh, what am I
since me and
doing?
Deedle gave
What
like
am I
a pair,
doing?
like
I'm-
a whole novel on our builds. What you got,
Yeah,
bro?
I'm
What's going on?
I'm boring because I went to Vegas during League launch weekend. I've played like
you motherfucker. And where was my invite? I'm just kidding.
You're too far away. We drove there.
Who says?
We drove there.
I can fly there in 4 hours, dude. 5 hours, dude.
Yo, the drive
I'm just
normally takes 4 hours. Coming back, everyone was coming back Sunday
Yikes.
afternoon. Everyone took
Everybody and their brother, huh?
everyone. So much traffic on that 15. Yeah, I went to Vegas for a friend's birthday party, and now it's my birthday, and it's tons of stuff. So I'm still leveling. I'm doing just arc mines just to start it. Same thing as Deedle, solo self-found hardcore. Just wanted to do something safe, something I knew. Yeah, arc
So
mines.
you going Saboteur?
Saboteur arc mines, yeah.
Saboteur,
Okay.
safe. I don't know if I've ever heard those two words used
Blind
in
is the
conjunction.
only thing safe is that.
Hey,
Blind,
I got 2 words for you. Melee socks. How about that? That's an inside joke from years ago. Sorry, guys, inside joke. Needle
You
eye.
said that you were gonna go melee too.
I
and
did.
switched
I said I was.
out.
I practiced spectral shield throw. I practiced it. No, I just didn't. I wasn't feeling it. Same thing with you and ED Trickster. I just wasn't feeling it. Like, it's fine. It's good builds.
I was feeling it. It just was too squishy to be as a first character.
I just wasn't feeling the play style. I know mines. It's what I know very, very well. You got me thinking about Concoction Ascendant though. You got me really thinking about Concoction Ascendant. Might do that next
I'm
week.
surprised you didn't do that because you like Pathfinder and Flask
love-
type
I
stuff.
can say this.
Oh.
Can I say this, Stark? Can I say this?
I didn't have a plan. Yeah, say it.
Hey, if you can manage, well, you can do it easier with Elementalist, but she's also squishier. But if you could manage just by looking at the ascendancies and stuff, if you could manage getting a chieftain to get some sort of like a decent amount of attack speed, because you know how he specializes in endurance charges, and he has no way of leveling, like pushing his attack speed by by default, right? You have to invest heavily to get it. Because he's normally a slam build, or whatever, or a caster, whatever it may be. If you could find a way to like really scale his attack speed, run him. I guarantee you won't.
Chieftain
I would do
Pathfinder?
it Knights. I would do it. Yes. No. Straight Chieftain. Do straight Chieftain, and then run Flask and do Ignites.
Yeah, but
Guarantee you, it's
Pathfinder's my
stupid.
girl. I want to do Ascendant. You got me thinking about Ascendant Berserker.
Yeah, run Pathfinder. Yeah. Let me see. What's Chieftain got? He's got fire damage, regenerate 2%,
Totem
1% damage by your
stuff,
totem,
right?
and
Yeah.
I mean to cover enemies in Ash, unique enemies in Ash is like really good for single target, but
Can totems
he's not the
throw
best.
concoction flasks?
Nope.
No.
I tried to. You know what else I tried to do because it was attack? I was hoping that I could like maybe General's Cry with the Berserker, and General's Cry and have them guys start potions. But it don't work like that. I was like, dude, that'd been hilarious to see. But hey,
Wait, that
it is what
wouldn't
it
work?
is. It doesn't work. I wish. I tried. Yeah, you can check it out. But I tried. I went and grabbed it just to test it out on the map, and it was like there was nothing coming from the corpses at all. It made me mad. You would think it would because it's an attack. It says use your attack that they're linked up to. It wasn't working.
You inflict exposure too. When you use that unique flask, you inflict exposure.
That's what I said. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. That's
I
the
never
point. That's why you wanted me to
listen,
look at it.
Deedle. I never listen to you. You know I never listen to you. Is Deedle, guys? Is Deedle talking? Because I mean, it's the same. It's the same for me.
SMH, Deedle, just SMH, bro.
All right, so that's what we're doing during Expedition. How do you guys like the mechanic?
Deedle, go ahead. We'll go back around the corner again.
So starting out, I was, testing it out like early and often because since I'm in, hardcore solo self-found, I don't want to wait until much later and then get bombarded by a bunch of shit and then basically go boom, fuck, I'm dead. So I want to test it out early and often. So I did it quite a bit in the early acts to the point where I kept saying, I need to stop doing this. And then I would come across a new one and we'd be like, 35% chance for stacked decks. I'm like, oh, I want stacked decks. Oh, damn, I'm gonna have to do this. Or items drop fully linked. And I'm like, God, every time I say that I'm not gonna do it, it pulls me back in. But I
Why?
really like it. It's a little time consuming, especially at first, like figuring out how to place things and how the detonation chain works and how the remnants work. And even once you do get used to it, it still takes a little bit of time to place the detonation. And if you like place it wrong and you have to go back and redo it, then the overall core mechanic where you're fighting and doing that feels really smooth. And then the gamble lady, like the NPCs, I think are awesome. I really, really like the NPCs. They feel very interactive. Like I'm constantly like talking to them, like the Haggler and Gwen and Rog the dog, Rog Champ and Panic. But I think they're very well done. The mechanics of each one of the vendor windows that they have is very, very engaging in a weird way. It's weird to say an NPC is engaging, but they are. So that also takes a little bit of time. I think it's a really cool mechanic. It's somewhat challenging. I think
you like
the
it better
drops-
than Ritual or what's the other Ultimatum? Ritual Ultimatum.
Like I really like Ritual.
Yeah.
It's tough to say right now, but the NPCs, sure, yeah. I
Mm.
mean, we had no NPCs in Ritual, so that's an
That's
easy,
right.
clear cut.
Only
But
thing you interacted with when he wanted to fight you. That's about it.
well, that was Ultimatum.
Ultimatum,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah.
Same shit.
Circle League, baby.
Yeah,
But I really
both
like
circles, yeah.
Ritual a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Can I Expedition.
just say real quick to end that
Yeah.
off? The server stability of this league launch was fucking fantastic. I
Phenomenal.
had no leagues, but I had no lag spikes. Some people were having T-posing issues, and I did have a time or two where that happened, but all I had to do was restart my client. And it was good. I think it's gone now for me anyway. They put in another tentative, in quotes, tentative fix for the T-pose, and I haven't seen it at all. But it was really funny last night. Woe 420 was like, man, you know what? I really missed the T-posing, and not a minute later, I started getting T-posing, and I was like, whoa, what the hell did you just do, dude? Like, I haven't seen T-posing for days, and you say something in chat, and a minute later, I get it. But other than that, no crazy lag spikes. No, I didn't DC at all, not once. So the server stability has been, for me anyway, like probably the smoothest launch ever.
So if they can duplicate the server stability like that and fix everything else, it'll be golden. It'll be like 100% golden. The server launch was dope for me too. I had a couple visual bugs and stuff that like would interact and like mess around with my MTX, especially with the shields where they added the new shield MTXs. We're able to take our weapon effects and put them on shield. That was really buggy. And I get it, whatever. It's one of the new, features they've added that, finally we can take our MTX and not only put it on our weapons, we can put it on our shield. That was cool. So I was running around with that, and it had some hiccups and stuff, which was really crazy looking. I was on GFL for it. Yeah, I was on GFL for it, and Zizrin made fun of it. I saw him watching it. He made fun of it. He was like, "Dude, you're a fucking bumblebee, and you got honeycomb on your body and shit." It was just wild. It was fucking crazy. But yeah, I got a lot of T-posing the first night or two. Pretty rough.
And your friend had like invisible traps in lab too, right?
Yeah, yep. Invisible traps. I had invisible Katava and a T6 map. It was rough. Like he was hitting me with stuff I couldn't even see. The only thing I could see was ground effects. I had to watch over that. But I get slapped for over half my life from a punch or something he would do, and you can't see nothing. And all you see was a heart just like flop out of the midair and land right in front of you, and you could beat the heart out, and then the heart would get like picked up and levitate back to the middle of the platform and then just disappear back in his rib cage. But there was no Katava. It was bad. I got it on recording too. I'll put it in my videos. But
some people had T-posing Katava. Did you see that?
I heard somebody was standing on his dick. I heard he was standing on his dick. They cracked me up. They were sort of talking about because his body angle like below the surface of the roof, like below that, the model, it like comes to a
it like
point. They
stands
said.
up. Yeah, it's in
And so everybody
Empy's new video. If you want to see it,
I'll have to check it
Empyrean
out.
had it
That's
in his
funny.
new video.
I know there was a T-pose Brutus on Reddit that I saw, but
That's
that's about it.
hilarious. I wonder what made that happen. I wonder if it was like on our end, or if, I mean, or like servers having a heart attack, like what it
It
might
was
have been.
definitely
But
on their end.
I
or
think
whatever
it's
it was.
I think it's just a delay. So I think a delay causes something in the code, because when
not
the
registering
client,
animations.
when the client and the server aren't talking to each other instantaneously, like a delay causes some kind of just
I was
weird
getting it
fucking
in-
graphic bug.
I was getting in an ultimatum at the end of last league when I was testing out
Yeah.
this guy.
Yeah. See, T-posing didn't happen the first day though.
The gorillas
for me.
The gorillas were like coming at me like T-posing, and I was T-posing, and I was just joking around like they just want to hug it out. They don't want to fight
T-pose
anymore.
wars, baby.
They
T-wars,
just want to
baby.
hug it out, dude. They just hug it out.
Because if you think about it from a coding perspective, or from a
Like
game,
that's their initial character models,
Exactly.
like how they are in their
Exactly.
database.
That's
right?
how
So
they-
some
that's how
things
they
with the animation.
lay the graphics over the
Right.
grayscale model is that T-pose. So that's how the graphic artists paint the characters.
That's crazy.
So it's
But
just
that's the first time I've ever
something.
seen that.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people didn't have it. And it was kind of
Start
that's what got
causing-
me, because it was like, is it on the server that I'm in? Maybe it's my server, because a lot of people were like, I don't have that problem. I was like, where are you located? I'm in Europe. Oh, okay, well, yeah, you may not. Maybe North American servers, and maybe something going on over here. Your servers may not be overwhelmed. So it was interesting, but like I do give praise to like the connection, because everybody was like, hey, at least it's playable. You're still killing stuff. It may be corny for a little bit, but like we're not dropping every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
we've had it before, and that was absolutely
That's
like
what I was saying, Big
horrendous.
Mag. Yeah, I had it at the end of ultimatum. Is when it started, and it would only pop up every now and again. And if you close out your client, just completely close the game
Close it out,
out,
reset.
and like sit with it all for like a minute, and then redo it, it goes away. It might pop up again, but it'll go away.
But I know I started this. I will say this. I know I started this and start mentioning it. New me, new hair. New hair, new
Looks
league.
good.
Whatever. I decided I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I wanted to do something different. I want to get rid of it. I wasn't doing anything with it. It was really just kind of getting long and curly and all over the place. And I cut it down real short. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to college. So I literally took that mug and went, zzz, and I was damn near bald. It's been a few days since I've done it, like 4 or 5 days since I've done it. But yeah, I just wanted to start over.
You're tempting me, because
Tempted you?
I've had
Yeah.
like hair that's almost. I've had
Well,
hair
hey,
that's a
I'll tell
year
you
and a
this.
half long right now, and you're tempting. I'm thinking about
I'll
it.
tell you this. I grew mine out for like over 3 years. I'll tell you this. If you do it something for the stream. Do it so people can watch, or it gets exciting. Because I made a
Okay.
mistake, and somebody said, you should have done that on stream. That'd have been fun to watch. You
It's
might even
true.
have people come watch you. And I'm like,
True.
I did that shit in the driveway, dog. One day I was out in the driveway, standing
In the
there and using water
driveway.
hose, and I was like, you know what? Yeah.
Because
I got the
yours.
clippers. I drug them things off the back porch, and I ran it from the back door to the right, and I went in the driveway, and I was just like, stood over the driveway, and zzz, where it didn't matter what kind of mess I made, it wasn't in the house, and I just did it all. And I was watching my curls fall on the ground. I was like,
I've been
no.
growing my hair out for like 6 years.
Oh, shave
It's so long.
Shave it all.
Do it.
But it's literally like I usually keep it tucked in my hoodie when
Come
I'm
on
when I'm
back.
playing.
Get the
Yeah.
come
Dude, it's
on
like,
back.
It's like down to my freaking. It's like
I know
totally
you.
down
You
my
tuck it. You
back.
showed us
down
one
to my,
day.
You
down to
can
my like
see-
ass crack.
Hey,
Yours-
Deedle, you know what you can do?
yours
You can do locks of love, Deed,
Yeah.
and like donate, and then turn around and like, or at least cut a
If
portion
I
off
ever
and
cut
donate.
it, well, no, it's not going to Locks of Love because
Mhm.
I'm not gonna get into the specifics here. But they
Sure.
kind of charge people.
What?
And
Okay.
they pick and choose. Yeah, you want to do. There's what is it? Pantene.
Yeah, there's a different one. There's a bunch of them,
There's,
but
Well, at least-
there's a
at least
bunch.
give it, like,
but
yeah,
Locks
make
of
sure it
Love
goes
is
somewhere
probably the
nice.
most crooked one. Yeah,
Okay.
you're
unless they've
actually
changed it recently.
you're actually able. Yours is long enough to donate because mine isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be like 12 inches in a ponytail or something like that. Yeah, I could probably do it twice.
Yeah, it's got to be a foot. And
Twice.
yeah.
No
Yeah.
shit, dude. It's literally down my back. Like if I
So-
pulled it out, I don't want to do it because then I have to tuck it back.
Just
But I
tuck
could
it
like
back in, dude.
if I could pull it up over my head and then basically look like cousin in. It like falls down. It's about as long as my beard if I put it over
Cousin
my
in.
head.
That's
Slim.
funny.
So what
So-
number did you use clippers, or do you use a 3mm, 6mm?
Bro, I took this no guard. Just fucking hit that bitch, push it all the way to the top
Yeah,
and hit
look
it.
at it. He's like Mr. Clean,
Really?
dude. He ain't got no guard.
Yeah, but
Zero
it
one?
looks dark though. So it looks
looks
like
dark?
there's stuff. Yeah.
Nah.
Because it's been like 5 days. Because it's been like 5 days.
Doug,
When
that's
it was
definitely
originally, I was
no
almost
guard,
yeah, I was almost gone. Like it was pretty much like you couldn't tell I had hair.
Wow.
My first streams when I got on.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
All right.
I cut that bit. I think I cut. Let me see. When did I cut this? I cut this off like 3 days before launch. And launch has been
Wow.
up for 2 nights now? 3 nights? Yeah. So yeah.
Wow.
we're on like day 3.
Yeah, day 3. Yeah.
Monday, so.
Yeah,
it's
I'll
been about
probably
5, 6 days.
do it on stream. That sounds fun for stream. Peggy can just shave it all off and
DJ Khaled. Hey, show them.
Another
Hey,
one.
Lobo,
It's-
show him that picture so he can put it up on the thing.
oh my
Lobo
god.
made a picture the first night I streamed on launch night, and he was like, "Bro, you know who you look like?" I was like, "What?" He goes, "You look like DJ Khaled." I was like,
DJ
Bro, DJ Khaled has hair on his head.
Another one.
"Another one." But why? Hold on.
Major key alert.
Cause it's cheap. I can be cheap hair for another 3 months, and that would be, that's what I'm
Post
looking
it,
to do
Lobo.
right now. Because of these nerfs,
So-
segue. Because of
So-
these nerfs, Twitch viewership is
big
down.
Listen, Stark, you ready? Listen, Stark. All right, so
Big
check this out.
nerve.
But before I forget, because Stark wanted this on recording because it was good talk. So we talk about nerfs. I want to
Yeah.
touch on it before I forget my thoughts because me
Okay.
and Dee were going on at it before we even started. We should've waited
And
a bit.
write down notes and notepad. Remember, guys,
So,
get your
Yeah,
notepads
yeah.
out.
So what I was saying is, I told Deed, one thing I wish that they had done differently, and take this with a grain of salt because this can work in many different ways, many different scenarios, right? The way I view it was the same way that a lot of people viewed it, and the first person I heard it say it with me because I was unsure because I'd watched videos, watched people post, and I was like, nobody's even thinking the way I'm thinking of it. And then Zizzern comes out and says, change should be gradual with a game like this because there's so much in it,
Yep.
right? And if you cold turkey a lot of stuff, it could put you in a hurt spot, right?
Yep.
So like when it comes down to it, it's like this. It's like they've got a hole they want to dig, and they're unsure about how deep they want to dig it, right? And then not being cliche or nothing, but yeah, there's DJ Khaled. God have mercy. Another one, dude. Another one. That's a laugh. Another one. But anyways.
That's funny.
Lobo is a master at editing, I guess. That's funny. He's got DJ Khaled's hands and everything. Another one. But anyways, listen. Put that away so I'm not distracted. I will say this. It's like they're digging a hole and they don't know how deep to dig it. So they dig the hole, and what they're doing is they realize that they dig the hole too deep, or they didn't mean to dig the hole where it needed to be. So they're trying to put the dirt back in the hole
That's harder.
and cover it back up and make sure that the grass grows back in 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So like instead of being gradual, because it takes time for everything to look
son.
nice, the ground to level out, and the grass to grow back.
Now,
I
son,
feel
we in
like
a drought. We in a drought.
Yeah.
There's ain't no grass growing.
there ain't no grass. That's what I'm saying. It's hot as balls. So it's like one of those things where it, I know Deed agreed with me, but he also had a different outlook on it too, and I'll let him explain it. But it's kind of like, you get a fillet, and you're in the back, you're in the kitchen, and the kitchen manager says, "Hey, we need to have this dinner made, presented, and laid on the table in 5 minutes with a fillet." How you think that's going to be presented? It's going to be dog shit. It's going to be doo doo. It's going to be rushed. It's going to feel, it's going to be scuffed, right? So like, when you're trying to present something that has quality and it has longevity in it, you're wanting to make sure that, you have to be realistic with your timing and how you present it. So like, I get it. They're trying to shave off all the fat, get the cut right, make sure it's seared, make sure it's, it's cooked well to the person's, asking it for it. They're trying to make sure they have the drink, the fancy wine, whatever it may be, have it all decorated on a plate and laid out for the party to come in and have his his blind dinner date with his Tinder date, whatever, right? You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, they're trying to prep for PoE 2, and I feel like it's around the corner because of what they're doing and the changes they're making. I think it's closer than a lot of people think.
Yeah.
But they're
I agree with
doing
that.
it. I think they're doing too much too fast. I think, and this goes back to what Deed said. I feel like that's the way they need to do it. But then everybody, like when you look at what Deed will say here in a minute, I feel like I agree on both ends, like what he said. I agree with a lot of people what they're saying, but then I also have my own thought, and I feel like that change should be gradual, especially with the project this big and how much. If this game had minimal content, dude, chop the fuck out of this thing. I get it, but you have so much content, and you're trying to literally like take. It's like you're trying to take monkeys in a barrel throw them bitches out the window and expect them to hook onto each other while they're going down the side of the building. It's not going to happen like that. It's literally you're going to have to hook each monkey by itself, one at a time, down the side of the house to escape the the burning house, whatever it may be, right? And I don't know. I like the change, but I don't think they're going about it the right way.
Do you know how I know it was rushed? There was one because if you're in a rush, if you just logically sit back and just take one single breath, you're like, all right, what are we nerfing Quicksilver of Adrenaline to? What's a normal range? 5 to 10. That sounds about right. 5 to 10. 6 to 8. What? What? That's not even a range.
I don't know, man.
6 to 8 was Wise Oak, right? They're like, well, fuck, what do we do? What's Wise Oak? 6 to 8. Oh, just put it 6 to 8. Just fucking get it out. Get it out. No, that's because there's no logical reasoning or explanation for an adrenaline being 6 to 8 instead of 5 to 10.
If it was 6 to 8, there's really no point of even having the affix adrenaline on a flask.
Thank you.
It's not that impactful. It's not that impactful. I agree.
Thank you.
My thing is like you've got these. I get you have a vision, right? So like, for the people who come in my chat and they came in my chat and asked me how I liked it, and I told them I love it. Like I enjoy the challenge. It's like in the middle of like, you guys play softcore, right? It's pretty brainless, right? A lot of people don't like brainless gameplay. I get it. They want you to have a little bit of challenge, something that makes you sit back and be like, damn, that motherfucker just chunked half of my life in one hit, right? I want you to sit back and think about it. But then also, you've got the people who do enjoy Gauntlet and they like the challenge that Gauntlet gives them. I feel like this is almost middle ground between both. You've got one extreme and one other extreme, and we're in the middle right now, right? And their vision is what 8 years ago was what brought us to play this game from the start. It was hardcore. It wasn't Gauntlet, but it was in the middle from where we're at now, which is brainless because of so much power creep. We're turning into a Diablo game, Diablo 3. And I know a lot of y'all probably play Diablo. I don't play Diablo anymore. I don't like Diablo. There are a lot of people out there who love Diablo and they still love Path, but Diablo and Path don't need to correlate in any way, shape, or form except for the title and the genre, right? ARPG, and that's all it needs to be when it comes to Diablo 3. Now, Diablo 4, on the other hand, sure, I hope they succeed, but like Diablo 3 is a piano game. You literally spam your keys off a cooldown. You spam everything. You spam potions. You spam skills. You do this, do that, and they don't want it like that. And that's the way it's going. It's brainless. It's too easy. And what made us want to play this game 8 years ago was the fact that it was Path. It wasn't Diablo. It was something different. It was hardcore. He even said in the video, Souls-like, similarities in like, challenge, right? And the more they give content every 3 months, the more creep we get. So like you saw that graph for the guys who pay attention to, you saw the power creep. We were down here on a scale, and as we kept getting 3 months, it kept going up and up and up and up, and eventually we're like these guys that can like one shot in-game bosses with enough money. Sometimes minimal effort, we can one-shot bosses in 10 seconds. So it's like, that's not how they wanted to envision it, which is cool and all, but let them envision their game and develop their game the way they need to envelop it, because that's what brought you to the game to start with. So why are you so upset about them changing it from the brainless gameplay we have now? I'm not saying I'm against it. I enjoy the brainless gameplay too. Everybody does it at certain times, but like, that's not what their vision was, and that's not what it needs to stay that way, because I feel like that's what keeps it separate from Diablo.
Sure. However, everybody's feelings of holy shit, what the fuck, that's all valid. That's all valid. Because yes, it was a gut punch. And that should not be swept under the rug because I listened to a lot of I listened to a lot of podcasts on Vegas and back from Vegas, and there were a lot of people saying, Reddit whines too much. No, it's valid. It's valid.
I'm not saying it isn't, but you, yeah, they do. But you do know that there are a lot of people out there, the ones that cry the most, and I feel like that they put pressure on people and stuff, and they dog people so much. I think that they are making the changes too early. Me, in my opinion, from just looking at it, I haven't had too much part of it, too much like hard of a time. I've only died like 7 times on that character too, so it isn't like I've been like running around ripping, every 10 minutes. So it's like one of those.
You're not solo stuff on? No solo stuff on hardcore?
Not right now. No, I told you not. You don't listen. See, you don't listen. But I think
Are
they
you
should have gave it a week or two and then made these changes. They're literally jumping the gun because they're paying attention to people who cry the loudest or cry the most. I think it's too much. I mean, damn, 3
Disagree.
days
I think it's
and
a
they're
good
already
middle ground. I think it's a good middle ground. And that's what, like I was saying earlier, is like to play devil's advocate, I do agree that it was
See?
a lot at once, but once we get accustomed to this and once we get used to it, it'll feel more natural rather than
Yep.
spreading these nerfs out over leagues and leagues. Think about how long this would have taken and how like
It probably
there's
took
no
multiple
saying they
years.
would
Yep.
there's no saying that they would have gotten each of these things done correctly the first time they do it, even if it was spread out over a long period of time. And the fact that they're going in and saying, okay, we're willing to work with you guys. We're willing to like listen to feedback and say, were the mana nerfs too heavy? Yes. Were the flask immunities too short? Yes. And we are addressing this and we will make the changes appropriately. So they're willing to work with us. They're not like so steadfast and hard headed to where they're like, no, this is what we want. This is the vision we have. We don't care what you say. This is what it is. Like they're willing to say, okay, take a step back and objectively look at it and say, all right, yeah, this is an issue. The mana is an issue. Having to use life tap on every
It
single
is.
one of your skills is not really how we envisioned this. We wanted you to work around mana, but we didn't want it to be to where you're OOM and
Can I
you're
add can I
dying
add something?
every second, right? And
Can I
then
add something? Go ahead. No, finish what you're saying. I just want to trying to figure out when to add it. Go ahead. You were talking
well,
about man
you
adding life tap. You're talking about
go
adding life
ahead.
tap.
You already broke my
So
flow. So
sorry, it was one of those things.
Fight!
Like, if you thought about this, Deed, have you
Fight!
thought about this? You know, have y'all thought about this? I know Stark really don't really. You can tell by he's conversating. He's busy. He's more interested in food than conversation. Deed.
It's so
listen.
good.
So it's just me and Deed really, like just kind of throwing this out there. Deed, you know
really
how they said
just
like,
Slim. I sat and let you talk for like 10 minutes
okay,
without interrupting you.
I
what
think
can
y'all
I
need to.
ask? I just want to ask him a question.
I think y'all need to
though.
fight.
Go,
I
yes.
think y'all need to fight.
Have you,
Go
have you thought
ahead.
have you thought about the fact that yeah they're nerfing it, but you know how they said they initially wanted to change the meta, right? What if they're just trying to lock this out temporarily, to where Spellslinger and all these other items that usually are like superior and overly used compared to everything else that we have as utility and stuff are going to be something that will come back later. Maybe it's just disabled or make it really fucking hard to get rid of for this, like, you know what I'm saying?
When have they done
I'm
that
just saying,
in the
think about
past?
it. Think about it.
When have they
I
ever
mean,
done that?
could that be something they may be aiming for? Like, do you ever thought like maybe that might be something they're looking at?
They've nerfed things before and brought them back to not
Could this be
previous
one of
power,
those? Could
but
this be one of those
rebuffed.
things?
Possibly. I don't think that's where they're trying to go with it. I think they're trying to
Okay.
balance their game to where, like, it's not just a one-shotsville and you just steamroll all content and not really see any mechanics.
Well, how would you change? Okay, let me ask you this, because I know this is crazy because you don't develop games, none of us do. But like something, is there like something you would go about it differently then? Since a lot of people have a hard time with this, what was something that you could maybe recommend? Have you ever thought about that at all? I don't know. I'm just asking. Maybe is there something maybe like I would have done this route instead of doing what they're doing now, or I would have done this slightly different than that. You know, like
we can also make a list and send it to Chris. He's very open.
Sure.
To criticism and constructive
Hey, Kenny,
feedback from
Kenny,
the group.
Kenny asked a good question. Do you think if there was an alternative PoE, would you think people would move to it instead?
This
I
league?
do. You want to know why?
Yeah.
If people were fed up this league and Diablo 4 existed, they would have probably went to Diablo 4. I mean, Tata Killer went to Diablo 3 and played. As dog shit as a game as is.
If
So, I mean, that
Diablo
tells you
2
something.
Resurrected was up right
Was
now,
out,
I'd be
people would
playing
go to Diablo
that.
2 Resurrected.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm not gonna play fucking Torchlight though. Fuck that shit.
A lot of people, a lot of people went to a last Epoch, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. Epoch's a great game. You know what?
I don't know. I don't know, Deed. I don't know how Deed feels about it. Deed, have you ever played Epoch?
You need to. You need to, Deedle. Someone needs to gift it to you. You need to play it because when I see all these,
nope.
when I see all these nerfs, all the changes of PoE, the very first instinct I had in my brain was, oh, they've been playing Epoch.
Yeah.
The devs have been playing Epoch, which is fine. It's a great game. It's a good game.
I don't know. He said F Blizzard trash company. I mean, they were good back in the day when we were all younger, but
When they had completely different employees, yeah.
when they cared about their player base, and
When they weren't owned by a corporate global conglomerate, sure.
Sure, yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things. Nerfs. I agree with what Deedle said about the nerfing and stuff, but like you also, it's kind of like one of those things where you're sitting on the fence and you're in the middle. You like both sides, but you know, where do you lean to? I don't know, because one of them makes sense and then the other one makes sense. So it's like, how do you decipher that whole scenario? Because I agree with everything he said.
Yeah, they've done this kind of thing in the past so many times. 3.0 CI gets dumpstered.
I remember that. We used to have nodes behind it.
Right.
And all
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We used to. That's what I'm saying.
So did Mind Never Matter used to have nodes behind it.
Used to be able
I
to
forgot
use
about that.
Used to be able to use used to be able to use Volpact with CI. Gone. So they've done it before. They have a history of doing it. It doesn't surprise me when they do it.
No, not one bit. But I mean, but how
is
do
the
you
game
go about
still
fixing it?
the game is still playable, right?
Yes, absolutely.
They wanted to slow the game down,
No.
right?
Mhm.
The damage nerfs definitely slow it down. The mana nerfs, the mana multipliers definitely slow it down and was a little bit heavy-handed. They're willing to go back and say, yes, this was a bit heavy-handed. We're looking to readjust it. The flask immunities, 1 second, too low. Corrupting, you're not getting immunities from corrupting blood. All right, yeah, that we could see how that could be an issue, right? So they're willing to like not be so steadfast, like I was saying before, and say, well, all right, we're willing to kind of compromise and kind of go back and
Mhm.
and make adjustments here. Now, like think about if they spread that over many leagues. Do you think they would be as willing to like kind of go back and look at some of these systems and be like, well, yeah, or do you think they would be more steadfast on it?
I don't know.
Deedle, you gotta talk more. We're getting notes in chat. You gotta talk more, Deedle.
I
cut him off.
tried and
I cut him off.
I got cut off. I let the man
Sorry,
talk for like
Doug.
10
Sorry,
minutes
Doug.
straight, and then I got my
Doug.
You also gotta fight.
I lost my train of thought.
Want to see a fight?
Well, I know he was talking about life tap and stuff, and he was talking about like, that's the problem. Like everybody, what the problem when everybody has to drop their normal setups and people aren't even able to use their normal gems in like previous builds. And he said, everybody's having to like move over to life tap, and that's a problem. And I agree because I had to. I do agree. I mean, I don't know how he feels about it, going to life tap right now with what he set up, but like what were you going to use in place of it if you didn't have to use life tap? Like what was that filler?
Biggest problem.
Ruthless.
Lobo says biggest problem.
My 6th link. But I found workarounds, right? Because like on the tree, and that's the thing is like we find workarounds for things. Damage, okay, damage nerfs, whatever. Like you feel it, but find the workarounds. They're there. We can find damage, right? Between your ascendancy, reworking your tree, reworking your support gems in general. So me using life tap, I took cannibalistic right, which is on the tree. The nodes leading up to it give you reduced life cost of skill, increased damage with skills that cost life, and it also says recover 2% of life on kill if you've spent life recently. So even if they make this change back, I kind of like that. Having 2% of life on kill in hardcore is really fucking nice. Think about like old Cinder Swallow or a Cinder Swallow. That's about like that's a mid roll on Cinder Swallow. It's very good. Think if you go up and smack a pack of 10 monsters, which is a small pack in maps, right? 10 monsters is not a very big pack in maps. You knock them out, that's 20% of your life.
Yep.
On kill. Not leeched. Recover is instant.
Right.
It's basically like life gain on hit. So like there's workarounds for all these things. We just need to find them. It's still early. And I like the fact that it's not a new game, but there's new things where we need to problem solve. I love problem solving in games like this. Adaptation, evolve or dissolve, right?
Well, that goes back to what you said about where you said that goes back to. I'm gonna add to this. That's what you said when you say you don't agree with them like maybe your point goes a little different direction, but like where I go back to where I said I feel like it's too soon. You know how you said you disagree, you think you like this change they're making in 3 days in, right? Is that what you said? I think you said you're
Yeah.
okay with that.
Well,
See, I don't like that
yeah.
because they don't give us
Because
time
they're
to adapt
willing to
though.
make compromises, but they
But
realize that it's heavy. It's very heavy-handed.
but you don't think we could adapt before they change?
They're
just
not
to see?
reverting. They're not saying we're gonna change it back
Oh,
completely.
okay, okay,
They're
okay.
meeting us like in the middle and saying, yes, this was a little bit too heavy-handed. We're not gonna change it back to pre 315 numbers, but we're willing to readjust these numbers a little bit and get it at a little bit more stable state.
Mm,
Same with the flasks, like not flask charges. They haven't addressed the charges, which is definitely felt really hard when you're in maps.
yep.
The fact that you don't have as much flash charges in maps is definitely felt to the point where some people are running 2 quicksilvers even in maps. Some people are running 3. Tarky released a video saying, this is how I'm getting around it. I'm running 2 light flats and 3 quicksilvers and alternating. But the immunities are big and the mono multipliers are big for just them looking into and basically admitting that they were a little bit off and wrong on some of the heaviness of some.
Keep talking, Deedle. You talk, brother.
Shut up.
Usually, listen, I'll tell you this. Usually in the past, previous, you go back and watch the podcast. Usually, you're the one that's not talking enough, Stark. So, I think a lot of people are alarmed that you're even talking this time around. So,
Actually, Stark is always the one that's like in the background,
not saying shit.
nothing.
Yeah, it's usually me and Deedle the one that are like back and forth, and then Stark will like say like a sentence or two, and it's like, okay, Bronson and Deedle going back to it. So it's like one of those things.
I like the extra challenge of it though. Like I said, I like having to find workarounds for things. I like, even though my plans were basically shattered coming in,
Right.
me having to go back and look at my POB and look at the numbers and basically test. I tested this build to see if it would still work. I went back, I took all the level 19 and 20 gems out of my supports and threw in level 1 supports because they were
Right.
basically the same numbers. To mimic the fortify nerfs, I took fortify effect off of my tree. I kind of, I said, okay, this is definitely slower than it was for sure.
Right.
But is it impossible for me to build this? No, it's not. And I think it's still worth pursuing as a build in hardcore. And I like challenge in Path of Exile. Why, like, Gauntlet is like, I say it all the time. Gauntlet is the most fun, even though it's sometimes aggravating.
Ridiculous.
It's the most fun that I have in Path of Exile by a long shot because it's so challenging and like it's just like and when you fulfill that challenge, right?
Mhm.
Like think of like how much adrenaline / dopamine gets released
Didn't drink.
when you have a challenge ahead of you and like
You smash it out.
you smash it. You're like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, like that. That's it right there. That's why it is. And to kind of segue into like a not really topic we have, but Gauntlet
Yeah.
in the current state of the game is going
Yikes.
to be so freaking hard this league. I wouldn't be surprised if
Well.
no one completed the Gauntlet if it stays in its current state. And then they were
It's good
talking about
content,
adding
though, right?
AoE and multi-proj and with all these flash nerfs and damage nerfs and survive. Like,
I don't know what they're gonna do.
oh boy.
I don't know what they're gonna do.
Like Act 1.
If it was
Think
me,
about Act 1.
if it was
Dude.
me, I would do Gauntlet. Keep everything the same. No AOE, no multi-proj. Get rid of the AOE. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I don't think that's
It's gonna be
make that
hard.
much of a difference, dude.
It ain't. It's gonna be hard as shit no matter what they do to it.
It is
It's
gonna
got
be
the
hard as shit,
40% more monster life.
Yeah, on top of the already more monster. Yeah, I know. It's yeah, and we're all gonna do it.
He said all runic mobs in the gauntlet. Fuck that.
We're all gonna do it. See, I haven't even come across the deadly runic mobs in map.
Some
I
of
haven't
the
even.
modifiers are really hard, dude.
Yeah.
They have some that are immune to fizz, and so if you miss it, or immune to cold, or immune to chaos, or immune to fire, there's immunities, which a lot of people don't really agree upon. But
Immune
if
to
you
lightning.
catch it and don't do it, like, okay, that you just work around it. But there's been times I missed it and pop it. I'm like, why aren't these guys taking damage?
Yeah.
Oh, they're immune to fizz.
Yeah.
They also have like 50% spell and attack block on some. They have some that are like monsters always crit you when
What'd
you're
you
on
do,
full
though?
life. They have 20% cull.
What did you
There's
do?
Ones
Because
I abandoned it. What else am I gonna do?
I changed my damn skill. I changed my fucking goddamn.
I couldn't. I tried
said-
taking brutality out, but I have so much spec into fizz. I have a
Yeah.
600 PDPS physical chopper. I'm
said-
doing straight physical damage.
I said arc mines. Fuck, what do I have in my bag? I'm looking at my bag. I'm getting attacked
It's
by
not-
immune to lightning. Arc mines, immune to lightning. No,
There's nothing else I could do.
Voltaxic
Right.
burst, socket it in.
He gotta leave it. He's gotta leave it alone. 'Cause,
No!
like, that's literally going back to Diablo
I
2
would
days
die.
where you have to
I would
have
literally
like
die.
if
All
hey,
of
I
my
will,
damage is coming from physical.
Pussy.
I will say this: if that's something that
Let
it's
me
like
go get a
something they wanna-
level 1 chaos gem that I have no chaos scaling.
bro, people used to do that in Diablo 2. Like the most minimal other source of damage just to make sure they could kill something
But
that
they're
was immune to
already
their main source.
tanky.
Yes, and that's what's shitty about it.
Hey, Deedle.
If that's something
I
we're gonna
just
have to do in the
abandoned
future.
it. Nothing that I can get from them
He
is
can't
going
do
to be
that with
worth dying.
Who said recently find a workaround? You just gotta find a workaround.
I
Find-
did, I
find
left.
a
I was leaving.
workaround.
I left it. It's
Leaving.
not worth it.
Hey, if that's something that's going to be like in the game from like in the future and like certain mechanics that we'll run into every now and then, they're literally stealing a page out of Diablo 2. Like that's something that people used to do. People used to run sorceress and they'd have their main spec as fire. Everything they did was fire damage, right? Hydras or meteor, whatever it may have been. And then on the off spec, if they ran into a fire immune and they couldn't kill it straight up,
I remember
they would
that.
they would have blizzard, or they would have fucking, freezing orb,
lightning
whatever it may
strike.
be.
Yeah.
So they had to do that kind of stuff.
Yep.
That's interesting. Yep, people are going to build around it. See, they're going to have, but see, that's the problem though. See, Lovos, here's the thing. I will say this because this brings something else. Right now, we're socket starved. Think about how many builds that to even get remotely enough damage. Now that they've even nerfed it too, on top of it, we have enough damage to even do with our main skill, right? With our main source of damage. So where are we going to get our extra sockets? Are we going to weapon swap? That's clunky. No, I think eventually PoE2 is going to have to come
PoE2.
sooner than later. If we get
Yep.
immunities, we're going to have that PoE2 where
Yep.
we are able to unlock 6 links and 6 links and 6 links to where we are able to have a 6-link cold and then, oh, okay, cool, we got immunities. Okay, cool, a 6-link chaos. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that.
I saw
Have to.
8 link.
Immunities.
I saw
there's
8 link
immunities
gems in
for
PoE2.
every single thing, though. Every build will get cucked by something. There's no
Yes.
real build that's like, oh, I can run all of these
Everything.
modifiers, right? Which it's if there's an immunity for everything and it's not just 1 or 2 things, then I guess it's pretty fair. Just read. And historically, Path of Exile / Twitch users are not very good at reading
Or listening.
or fucking listening
What'd you
or
say?
letting
What'd you
people
say?
talk.
Dino, were you talking? You talking, Dino?
I'm just
talking
laughing.
again?
This shit funny. He said, "Hey, look, Lovos said what?"
Oh,
But you-
assholes.
But Lovo, you
I
get what I'm
wasn't
saying though,
listening.
right? Like I
Can't even
feel
spell
like
it.
I do feel like Deedledo onto something. It is true. Like, and what you said, they're trying to get people to like stop full converting into just one source of damage. I understand that, but like I get it. They don't want it to be. They even said it in the past. They don't want their game to be like just a one-click button. You know, one-click kill everything. They want us to have like multiple sources. And if you think back, you watched the PoE2 video they leaked about with the Raider. The Ranger, and she was shooting all kinds of different elements and stuff. Like that's how eventually we'll probably end up playing.
Freezing
We might
bolt.
have-
Artillery bolt.
Armor
Freezing
piercing
bolt.
bolt.
Armor piercing bolt.
So, like,
Freezing bolt.
We're probably gonna have shit like that, which is cool. But I just feel like if they're gonna go that route, they don't need to take away so much speed from it. Because if they slow us down too much, and then they take away everything else that we know when it comes to like the enjoyment of PoE. I get it. You want to slow the game down a little bit, but don't make us to where we're fucking snails. And then we have to invest in a bunch of other stuff where we're just like clusterfuck of, okay, I got lightning here, and then I got freezing bolts, and then I got armor piercing bolts, and all this stuff. It's just so much micromanaging a bunch of shit.
One reason I was really surprised that the slams got nerfed, honestly, because
Yeah.
you have to juggle so much. It's definitely not a one-button build by a long
Sure.
shot. And not only
Mhm.
that, there wasn't that many people. Like they always said, they balance around softcore trade, right? You look at how many people were playing slams and softcore trade. There was 1% of the player base playing Earth Shatter. Like 0.5% were playing Ground Slam, and 0.5% were playing EQ. That's hardly meta. And you factor that in with the juggling of the war cries and your flasks and your totem and your berserk and your curse. Like, that's a lot of fucking juggling. And usually they're okay and they'll let things, even if they're powerful, slide by like that. And I was really surprised when they like hit slams really hard.
So
Go ahead.
you said something. We started talking about slow, and it literally just dawned. Oh God, that food is so good. It literally just dawned on me, and this is something I am gonna bring up to Chris. How does GGG make slow feel good? How do you still keep the good feeling of Path of Exile when you're being slow? But I have the answer, and it's to...
Do you have an answer?
Yes. Let me hear it. Give you more decisions to make when you slow down the game. So if you're slowing down the speed...
One word: immersion.
I don't know what that means. Okay, you immerse yourself? Yeah, okay, immersion. Okay, I'm just gonna dunk my head in water. I immerse my head in water, okay? Now what?
So think about that in aspect of the game, though. You're dunking your head into the game. You're fully immersed.
So
get dunked, bitch.
It grabs you. It grabs you. It pulls you in. You're like
I'll do to him in real life. Like I'm gonna do Stark in real life.
But if you're
just strictly focused,
if you are strictly focused with more to do, more decisions to make, and that is what would make the slow movement speed feel good. You have to make more decisions. You have to choose which element am I going to switch to, which whatever am I going to switch to. How do I avoid more decisions to make? More decisions to make. More.
Not only the workarounds, but with your league mechanic. There's a lot of decisions to make with the league mechanic.
In the middle of combat is what I'm saying.
The remnants that you choose to blow up, you don't have to blow up every remnant.
And I do believe that they are going that direction, because look what they did with flasks. They said, well, we don't like the easy decision of smashing all your flasks at once. So if we gave you 5 separate decisions to make in the middle of combat and slowed the game down, now every time you're in a fight, you have 5 separate decisions to make instead of mashing all your flasks at once. See what I'm saying with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think
you have
that
more choices.
Right. Even though it's a slower speed, it still feels good because there's more choices.
As a whole, I think while reading about it all on paper, it seemed like it was going to be a lot worse than it actually is. With exception, except for the mana, the damage. Like, yes, you feel it, and it does slow things down. From my perspective, some people have said it does. They don't feel it, but they're playing like traps or spectral shield throw, and they're still kind of zooming. But I definitely feel the slowdown. It doesn't feel terrible. The flasks not being able to flask, and I think with the new immunities that will kind of fix that, because sometimes for instance corrupting blood, if you hit a corrupting blood monster or a corrupting blood pack and it's like bam, oh, I got 10 stacks, I need to clear it. Oh, I hit him again, oh, now I got 10 stacks again, I need to clear it. Now, oh shit, I'm out of flasks, and now I got 10 stacks of corrupting blood again. If we're getting 4 seconds of immunity or freeze or poison or shock, then I think that managing your flask will be a little bit better than just having a 1 second immunity. And I like the reactive play style of don't use your flask, don't use this certain flask, and unless you're actually under the influence of that ailment. I like that. That's cool.
Deedle talks about being slow and you can feel it. I think going in and watching the patch notes and stuff, I wasn't nervous. A lot of people said they were nervous about it and they were worried and this and that. A lot of the big changes and stuff, when it came to nerfing. For me, I knew that the majority of people who, especially the people who fall in the same tier of us, where we play the game multiple hours a day, we played it for many, many, many years. and you've got these, you've got the difference. And then, no offense to people who out there who are casuals, some people who only get maybe a couple hours a day to play the game. Some people don't even get that much, but, for the people who are casual, who might take, a month to get done with a campaign, right? It would affect those people who don't have the same game experience as the other people who dump a crap ton of hours into it, right? So I wasn't worried. I knew that I would feel it, but I didn't think it, like, some people were like hella nervous and like worried about it and stuff. Oh, I don't know. I feel like it's going to ruin it, or I feel like this is a bad move, this and that. And I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking, bro, the rate we blow this game up already, like if you're blowing the campaign up in the first session you play in, bro, this is hardly going to affect you because you already are well above the average player who plays this game. So like when it came down to it, in my mind, I was thinking I'm probably going to hit something every now and then that might be like, oh, that's new, or oh, it took me off guard for a minute there, yada yada. Probably not going to be that much different. It might feel like you said, the flasking stuff. There's certain mechanics that you just can't avoid. They're going to slow you down. But outside of that, I wasn't worried about it. I knew it'd be slow, but I don't know. I wasn't on the same page as everybody else when they were talking about how they were nervous and they were worried about it. Yeah. I don't
And
know how
like
Deed felt or Stark.
Lick
But
says, like, why slow though? So we're on like day
we see.
3 though, too. We
Why
don't
slow
know
though?
how this is gonna progress through. Like I'm pretty sure most people on day 3, even in previous leagues, weren't like at their full capability, like zoom get good status, right? Like it's just gonna take a little bit
Mhm.
more time to get to that stage, to farm your gear, to make everything more on your build more impactful to where you can do that. And I'm 100% certain that there'll be new builds that come up and spring from this that
Sure.
build creators will make that will still zoom.
They
There'll
were
still be
certain of
zoom
that
builds.
too. They were certain of that too. So
It took me about the same, Lovos. I took things like I joked earlier that I was going faster in the gauntlet last league than I am now. Now,
yeah.
with that being said, I didn't do the league mechanic when I was leveling in the gauntlet,
So
and I was doing the league mechanic quite heavily on this playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big thing, but
so Lix's point, or his core of his response was, I think, was it why are they slowing it down when an ARPG is you're supposed to level to a god tier loot farmer? I think they have to be slowing it down because of the way PoE2 operates, because of the things they've been developing in PoE2. There's way more slower interaction with mechanics, with monsters, with items, with
complexity.
exactly.
Look at it.
I think that's the whole entire reason why they're doing it now. I think it
I
has to
agree.
be.
Who asked
Yeah.
that question? Who was it?
Licks.
Licks. Look at
didn't-
it like this. Look
he
at it like this,
didn't-
Licks. They showed that graph. I'll say this real quick. They showed that graph. We all started out right here, and then as the graph got higher and higher, those represented each league they gave us, right? And so for like longest time, we haven't had like any kind of cutoff and like drop back down to earth. So right now, originally 8 years ago, we started down here on ground zero, right? And then like 8 years later, we're up here sky high cloud 9, right? Because they haven't done anything like this, and so they're basing PoE2 back down here on ground zero. So what they're doing is they're resetting us, and then when PoE2 comes out, guess what? Every time they bring an expansion every 3 months from PoE2, after PoE2 launch, we'll just keep going up. We'll keep going up. We'll keep going up. So like they're pretty much just resetting us, and we're gonna get a fucking power creep for who knows how
I
long,
think
and then they'll
we'll
do it
get
again.
power creep again.
It'll do it
It's
again.
not like it'll never happen again.
Yeah. Yep.
Power creep
That's what they're
will
doing.
happen. It's inevitable.
They're just
With
resetting us
new
a bunch.
mechanics, with new gear, with new interactions between uniques that people, I'm sure, haven't even found yet.
So
Yep. Yeah.
So,
WoW does it all the time. I
ma-
agree.
mana nerfs felt bad. What else?
Flasks, and we talked about
Flask
that.
felt bad.
what
We're talking
else?
about that. Yeah. What else did you really notice? And I wish I could chime in, but I'm still
Did you notice
leveling,
any-
and the only thing I've noticed in leveling is mana regeneration in Act 1 or 2. It felt like shit. Other than that, though,
Deedle mentioned some of his supports, like with the slam and stuff, like that hurt a little bit. But like, I haven't played enough anything else to like notice anything crazy big, and I'm also playing new skills, so I don't have a lot to say outside like this. The
wonder-
big points of nerfs.
I totally changed my almost my entire links around, and my tree was very different. I dropped Fist of War, I dropped Seismic, and then like I was saying earlier, I created a workaround with Rallying Cry and Herald of Purity to where I got the damage multiplier from that, and then I'm getting stuff from that. So I dropped Fist of War, and just had to make some workarounds.
Dude, look at this. PoE Ninja, Hardcore Expedition, Spectral Shield Throw meta.
Yeah,
20
Spectral Shield Throw.
20%. Because it's got the damage. Because it came out with
And
the
the
damage
clear.
buff.
There's no door. The reason they make you run back is because there's no door to Brutus's lair anymore. That is his room. He can run anywhere and everywhere in the warden's quarters.
I do like how he smashes through the tunnels too. That's
That was
fun.
cool. I like it.
That was
cool.
if
It was a
that's
cool
the kind
change.
of the quality of life stuff they're changing, and like the stuff in the demo that we played in New Zealand, like that's the kind of quality of stuff we'll get in PoE 2. And I hope that they continue to push that through all these 10 acts. I don't know how they're going to do it and when they're going to do it, but you know, if they can manage to pump that kind of stuff out like they did in Act 1, it's going to be, dude, a free game like this should cost us $70, and then it's $50 every time they release new content. So like, you know, you guys are like, we're blessed. A lot of people don't realize, but we're blessed to play a game like this.
I still support the company. I
Hell
love
yeah.
Path of Exile. I bought, supporter packs this league. So even though one of them's trash and looks like garbage, and they said, hey, you can get a refund on this if you want. I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get a refund. Nah, I'll keep it. Fuck it. Unfortunately, a lot of the not a lot, but some of the player base don't share the same mindset / feelings and opinions on the game as we do. And they were like, I know without doubt, like they were prepared for this. They said they were prepared for the backlash. They'd have to be, right?
They've been raking in the money from Ritual League, and
yeah, but
they got a bankroll. They're prepared for
it. Exactly, and somebody pointed that out. I think it was Kat said it's not about the money anymore. Like,
no, it's not.
They'll be fine without the money.
That's correct.
They have an artistic vision that they want their game to go, and it's kind of ran off the rails from where they've wanted it, and they've left it unchecked for so long that they want to reel this back in before it's too late and everything goes crashing off the rails. Some people think that is this moment. I don't. I still think that the game is fully playable, and it may take some time for us to get used to things. It may take a couple passes on their end to get the numbers right and to get everything situated where exactly it needs to be for this to, in their eyes, be where they want it. But I think that it's not necessarily a bad thing.
All right,
even though some of these mechanics do feel bad at the moment.
There's only 6 people playing Archmage, by the way.
I believe it. But so Enki dropped his Arc Witch and is now a Hierophant Ball Lightning Arc playing with Archmage. I think it'll still be able to be an okay skill. It's just going to take a lot more currency and farming to get better gear. It's not going to be such an off the bat like scaling skill. You're not going to be able to have it be good straight off the bat. It's going to take some gear and stuff. But like I said, like my Templar, none of the defense really got touched. I didn't run agnostic. Dynamo did get hit. Dynamo got cut in half, which is recovered 10% of mana over 1 second when you use a guard skill. That came down from 20. We can't use Second Wind on Arcane Cloak anymore because it doesn't do anything but raise the cooldown. But you can use Efficacy.
Okay.
We are all guinea pigs for PoE 2. That's literally what this has all been. They've even admitted like all this stuff, all these experimentations, Blight,
We've always been baited. So
we've been PTR for PoE 2 for years.
If you play League and Path of Exile, you're a beta tester.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's always been like that.
That just doesn't feel good. It just doesn't.
Do me a favor, Stark, while you're browsing.
Yeah, PoE Ninja.
Playing standard.
No. Browse. Go to Reddit or whatever and find right. Like I don't know where. You know how people post like the biggest clips from like PoE streamers or whatever. See if you can find like Rise QT's talk about.
I watched that.
Please
earlier
watch it.
Today.
Play it on here. Play it on.
Okay.
Can you play it with sound?
I did.
obsessed
I watched it earlier today because Rise is really. You know, I regret not hanging
Listen
out
to
with
this.
him
This
more
goes back to what
often.
Deedle. This goes back to what Deedle was talking about, where he said, you know, this is their vision. This is what the game used to be, and you know, like they're drifting far from what their vision was. And it's like, you know, Rise is very blatant and very blunt about it. He was just like, literally, they're running the people off who want to play
They are
Diablo. This is not
showing
Diablo.
you the door, is what he says. They're showing you the door.
See if Deedle
And
hasn't
they've
watched it. I don't
addressed
think. Have you watched
repeatedly
Deedle? Listen to this shit.
that people will not like it.
Is it
Too
volume?
bad. Okay.
We don't have volume. Damn it.
And yet,
We don't. Yeah.
despite all
You'd have
of
to
that,
listen to it on the
despite
stream, you
clearly
would hear a
saying,
crazy echo.
you know what?
Oh,
Chat
fuck.
can hear
If
it.
you don't like the
It's
new
on the
PoE,
recording.
too bad. Time to go away.
If you don't like the
it's
new
not-
PoE, too
not
bad. Time to
post
go
Reddit
away.
threads about how you don't
Yeah.
like
That's
it.
what he's saying.
It's time to leave, bitch.
Yeah.
And yet people keep bringing it up. But you're losing players.
Yeah,
but you're
'cause, like,
selling a
they-
product.
Hey,
you're
do me a favor,
supposed to be
Stark,
the
while we're
next
talking about
Justin
this, like, he's just
Bieber.
kinda
Appeal
ranting.
to everybody,
Post that
you know?
link in the
Fuck
or Deedle,
quality,
give Deedle the
fuck your
link to that
fucking
exact
artistic
link so he
vision.
can, like,
It's
I'd
all
post that in the
about
bottom
the
of this video
money. It's all about the
I wouldn't.
product.
By the
It's
time
like,
I
dude,
get it up
you know?
and start playing, it'll be
Shut
over.
the fuck up. Like, it's not. To you, it might be, you know?
Yeah.
But listen to the
But
things that they're
with
saying.
that being said, I kind of got a glimpse of this. I didn't hear it all, but I agree with like what he
Well,
said.
don't
You know,
interrupt
some
him. He's
people-
talking right now.
Read what they're writing, you know? Read what they're addressing.
Here it is.
No
Right.
doubt, the game has changed a lot over the fucking 20,000 plus hours of me playing it. But I still fucking like playing the game. Like, no matter what, man. Because I like the video game. If you're fucking obsessed about Path of Exile being a certain way, and there's no change in your mind, and that's it, you're the person that they're trying to get rid of, man. Their
So-
player retention is down.
I'll repeat what he just said for you, Deedle. He said verbatim, if you are expecting Path of Exile to be a certain way and that's the way you want it to be and you don't want to change, they are trying to get rid of you.
Yeah.
Which, anytime they nerf shit, I'll cite 3.0 as an example again. The CI dumpstering of 3.0. Getting rid of all the nodes behind CI. Valpack no longer works with CI. Ghost Reaver.
Think of how
They
think
are
about
trying
that,
to.
though. Think about how outrageous CI and Energy Shield builds were then.
People are getting
But that's-
30k energy shield, dog.
Come on,
Sure,
it
sure.
needed to be reeled
Sure,
back.
but here's my point. Here's my point. Sure, whatever.
People
but
wanted that. People wanted that.
They make huge. I lived through it. I didn't fucking want it back then. But my point is, Rise is saying they are trying to get rid of people that do not want to adapt in PoE. The whole
I don't think they're
point.
trying to get rid of people.
That's what he
but
said.
I don't.
I'm just telling you what he said.
And I'm rebutting. I'm making a rebuttal.
You're wrong.
Rebuttal.
I'm unwavered.
I don't think that
I
I
am
don't think they're trying to get
unwavered.
rid of anybody. But if it's gonna come down and then people are gonna say, "Oh well, I'm not gonna play the game," I think they're unwavering. I think they
That's
have
true.
a stance that they want to, like I was saying, their
That is the
vision for
unwavered stance.
game
Yeah.
is off the rails, and they want to bring it back. They want to have that excitement back of feeling like you need to watch your ass. Now,
You're
all right,
right, Lobos.
something else though is like, if they want to slow the game down, what about like incursion timers? What
Yeah,
about
they need-
legion
they need to-
timers?
they
What
forgot
about
some of
it.
the- What about delirium? What about some of these timed events where
They
now we
forgot.
can't go as fast
Yeah, I
and we're
forgot.
slowed down, but these timers have stayed the same?
They
right?
either forgot or they don't want the loot explosions that used to come with it, which they're going to need to address that via words or actions or something, because
They had said that
that's
they don't want it to be like that, so that
Really?
could be a reason. Yeah, they said this ultimatum was one of the reasons the ultimatum didn't go core, is because they want to rework the way the loot is. They didn't
Got
want
it.
the loot explosion at the end to overshadow the loot that you actually got from
well,
the mechanic itself.
when I just said loot explosion, I meant more loot as opposed to less time, less loot. Not explosion of tons of items, just more stuff instead of.
They've been
anyway.
saying they're trying to draw back all the clutter and have more impactful things, not have as much quantity, but more quality items. And I think it was somewhere in the patch notes too that Someone said that it's bosses. I thought it was game wide, but
I
have
am
less things drop, but more like slightly better rolled. They said they've been trying, and that's a performance issue too, right?
I'm
like
not-
they have to render all those things on the ground.
I'm not talking about clutter at all. I'm not talking about clutter. They're going to need to address incursion. They're going to need to address timers one way or another. They're going to need to say something about it, or they're going to need to say, hey, we forgot about these things when we were making the heavy changes,
Or this is how we want it.
exactly. Okay, there. And I'm getting rid of concurrent players because fuck it, I don't care anymore. It looked bad. That's it.
We kind of went into like
Yeah.
kind of went.
Yeah,
into
we
it
did. We did a little
there.
bit. Final thoughts.
Hey,
Final thoughts.
I
I like the mechanic. I think it's gonna take some getting used to the overall game now, but I don't think it's in a terrible state. It's definitely still playable. The league mechanic itself seems fun, engaging. I also got a Raslasa's coil on day 1 from Gamble Lady, so that made me like
Ooh.
her a little bit better.
I
You about
bought
to-
so many simple robes from that fucking bitch at level 2. So many fucking simple robes. Bought them all at level 2. Oh, you can only the mods that could roll at level 2 are so no fucking tabula.
you ready?
You didn't do it long enough.
I got one
Get
word
good.
for my
Get
for my
good,
impression.
scrub.
Yeah, one word. Ready? Adapt. Adapt. You
adapt.
filthy, you silly motherfuckers. If y'all don't adapt, hit the door.
2
That's all I
trollbulas.
say. Adapt. Adapt.
2,000 ribbons.
I
Two
got
of
mine
them.
from my tabula from Einhar at like level 20 something.
That's good for
Simple.
you.
It's
Good-
perfect. Right?
good for
I couldn't
you.
I couldn't have really used it before that.
Good for
Anyway.
you. You look happy and healthy. Guess you something so something.
You
Good-
know what I say to that?
good
Something
for
something
you.
anything maybe not, but then something not really.
I got 2 in a row. Hey, that's good for you. You look happy and healthy. God, I wish that I could do that. How about that?
Slim, what you got?
What from Unique?
No,
from
for
final thoughts.
Oh, I did.
Jerry
I said,
Springer.
Adapt. That's all I said.
Oh.
Adapt. That's
Oh,
my final thoughts.
that was your
Adapt.
final thought?
Silly motherfuckers, adapt. That's all I said. That's
I
all
thought
did,
you were
dude.
just quoting.
No,
Rise.
man. I'm making fun of Sway in the morning, but I'm in POE terms. You know what I'm saying?
It's a good show. 91 minutes. 91
Hell yeah.
minutes, 40 seconds.
I figured it was
hell
gonna be
yeah.
a long one. There's a lot to talk about.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good show though. I mean, it's not
We're-
so long that
so
it's
for-
longer than
Oh.
our regular 1 hour 15 minutes. Our normal.
Did you end it already?
No.
Okay, so for those watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Let us know how you're feeling about this league.
Tell us in the
how
comments
the-
what hurts the most, what you like, what you don't like.
What you like, what you don't like, how you're adapting to things. And
Yep.
for those in chat who may have joined us late, we will have this podcast up on my YouTube. Hopefully by tonight. I try to have them up by the same night. Sometimes it'll be the next morning. Depends how things go. But it'll be up within 24 hours on my YouTube. Deedledo on Twitch.
Yeah, on YouTube. Just to cut you off here, Deedle.
Stark has a link to it. I have a link to it in my chat. It's exclamation point stance, not stamps.
I'm gonna have to make one.
In my chat, Stark has his Nightbot that puts it up, and it's a folder. It'll just bring you to the last one. You can watch previous episodes. Let us know how you feel. Thank you guys. so
I
much.
need one person. I need to see a couple of these. Somebody out there is gonna do this. I need to put in all caps
Stamps.
with spaces. All caps and spaces. Adapt one time.
Oh
Somebody just
my
put a bunch of adapts at the
god.
bottom.
Oh
Thank you
my
very
god.
much. That's all I need. Adapt.
So if you're on YouTube right now, there's that like button. It looks kind of cute from 5 feet away, or no, 20 feet away. That like button
Then
looks kind of
comment.
cute. It's wearing those high waisted jeans with the blonde hair. Just
Or, you know, if you didn't like
that
the
like button.
podcast, dislike it.
Yeah, dislike it. Maybe it's a brunette, and you gotta dislike the like button because it's brunette. Maybe that bell.
Dislike the like button. Yeah, like that.
Maybe that bell is you know, wearing some bell bottoms, and you gotta get up in those bell bottoms. Maybe you gotta do that with the bell. I don't know.
In that trousers.
Send that
Adopt
my
the
way.
Quicksilver of Adrenaline, possibly from the shortcut card.
I'm gonna email them about because
At least your card drops still. What about the Blessing of God guy?
Yeah,
that
the
you know his
Elden
card
guy.
doesn't even drop anymore.
Well, because they're deciding what to do with it. But I am gonna email them about the card because I do want to collect my thoughts in an organized way and lay them all out. Preview of a sneak peek of what I'm going to email him. I'm going to email Chris. I'm going to say, hey, 6 to 8% doesn't make any sense. There's no in no world does that make sense. 5 to 10 makes sense. 10 to 20 makes sense. That logically is correct. 6 to 8, it was rushed through. You guys didn't care. You guys didn't know. That's a bad look. If you want to slow it down, get rid of adrenaline. It's 6 to 8, you might as well get rid of it.
Most people are kind of taking that as
I like that. That's
thing.
good.
Like it's not worth.
No one's using it. No one's using it.
It's not worth rolling. It's
Right.
not worth the alterations to roll.
That's correct. If you still want adrenaline, 10 to 20, 5 to 15, 5 to 10. Honestly, 5 to 10, get rid of it. 5 to 15.
We didn't even talk about the movement skill nerfs either, right?
No.
But I mean,
There's so much shit to
it's a
talk
little
about.
late now for that.
Yeah.
Smoke mine, dumpster. Nobody's gonna use
It's
it
gone.
except for skips.
Take it out of the
Flame
game.
dash still usable. I've been using leap slam and it feels fantastic.
I've been using flame dash.
Shield charge feels fantastic too. The only thing I just
Yeah, but you can't
close.
get up
Yeah, I can't gap
cliffs.
close. Yeah. Yep.
Or
Yeah.
jumps.
Good talk. That's good. Good show. Thanks y'all for talking with us, man. That
Yeah,
was great.
come-
Y'all had a lot of output, man. I like that.
Come visit
Yeah,
on
that's some good
Twitch. We're all at Twitch/Deedledo on the top left. Twitch.sleevy.
Sleepy D. Who's Sleepy D?
Sleepy D.
Sleepy D.
Yo, Sleepy D.
40%
Yo.
of people think he's still not president. Sleepy D. Yeah. No, twitch.tv/SlimB44, twitch.tv/StarForMachines. Come hang out with us. We're fun. We'll live me. I will
Hell
just troll the fuck out of you if you come into my chat. I will talk so much shit to you.
He talks so much shit. Make sure you give it back to him. Guys.
Yeah,
Don't take that shit.
it'll be amazing. I had a guy.
Don't take that shit.
Flute his ass.
I had a guy come
Give
into
him
my
the
chat.
flute.
I had a guy come into my chat the other day, and he's like, "Stark, remember me? You originally thought I was a troll," and I'm like, "Well, if you're in my chat for a while, you're a troll." That's all I got.
Yeah, it was last night. I was there.
That's all I got. Yeah. All right. We love you. Have a good one.
All right,
This has
guys.
been the Unwavering Stance. Love you. Goodbye.
See you later. Thanks for hanging out.
Later.